and questions about the OnRamps program, we'll also talk about the dual credit opportunities that your students have through Houston Community College. Thank you for joining us tonight. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce our OnRamps partner, Jennifer Garrigan, who is going to share with us information about the OnRamps program.
Can I interrupt you for just a minute?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we just ask everybody to please mute their microphone while we give this presentation? We would appreciate your help with that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all so much. I really appreciate you. And good evening. My name is Jennifer Garrigan. I am the Senior Partnerships Coordinator with OnRamps. I have worked with Spring Branch ISD for many years. I love Spring Branch. I am the Partnerships Coordinator that is responsible for supporting our partners in Region 1, in Region 4, 19 and 20, and all the charter schools in Texas. So I'm a little busy, but it's fine. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And as mentioned, I'm going to be presenting a lot of information to y'all tonight. I do have a great slide deck to share with you. We'll have some really good information to go over in terms of our program, the ins and outs of the program, and then I will absolutely have time at the end to answer any questions that you may have. But just know that there's going to be a lot covered. So if you can hang on to those questions, please do so. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now and get started. So, okay. All right, everyone can see my slide deck okay? Is that the only thing everyone's seeing? Perfect. Okay, great. So again, name is Jennifer Garrigan with OnRamps. It is a dual enrollment program developed and facilitated by the University of Texas at Austin. We are, again, so excited to be partnered with Spring Branch ISD. We are actually in several school districts and partnered with a lot of school districts in Region 4 and in that Houston metro area. So again, very happy to be here and thank you again for having me. So the purpose of OnRamps, we have a couple different things that really make up that program. So we were established in 2011, and again, an initiative from the University of Texas at Austin. And what we really want to have is an opportunity for our students to experience college before they actually get to college. So how they do that is enrolling in one of our 16 high quality dual enrollment courses. A few things that it helps them prepare for is the demands of college and the workforce and beyond. So not only are we really engaging your students in some really rich academic content, but we're also helping them develop those social and soft skills needed to become successful once they actually get to college. I'm going to talk about that more in just a few moments. They're also earning college credit that is transferable to any state, 2 or 4 year institution within the state of Texas per credit-based policies, but we're also seeing our credits be transferable to out-of-state colleges as well. Most recently, from what we've heard from our students, University of Oklahoma, Johns Hopkins, Baylor, LSU, so the list goes on, schools in California. So our students are really earning college credit, involved in this experience, but taking those credits and their experiences out of state as well. We also want to improve the academic and social emotional learning outcomes of our students by preparing them for what they're going to experience in college.
What does that say?
And then we're also supporting our teachers through effective learning strategies that really impact the engagement and attendance of your students. So our mission in OnRamps is to increase the number and diversity of students who engage in learning experiences aligned with the expectations of leading research universities. We find this to be very important. We hold our expectations very high of our students, and what we see is those expectations are absolutely met by the way that we engage them in our program, both on the academic piece, the development piece, but also really in that active learning phase for your students. The reason why we love our model so much and that we know that it works is because we look at the data and we do a lot of research about OnRamps and how our students are doing, how they're doing throughout the state with dual credit opportunities, which are defined by a few different ways. So we define dual credit as an opportunity that has a college credit bearing weight to it. So that includes dual credit programs, dual enrollment, AP courses, and then the IB program. So we partnered with the University of Texas Systems, which we do often, went through their dual credit study in 2018, and it found that if a student just takes one dual credit class, that we double their chances of college success once they get to college. And so when you look at that number and you look at what it can do to impact your students' matriculation from high school into college, and for them to really persist through that first year is incredible. So we're seeing more likely and a lot of students becoming more successful in college because they took these courses in high school. So with OnRamps, we're very, very proud of our student success. And 74% of our students who graduated in that 2019-2020 year enrolled in a 2 or 4 year institution. Why this slide is so important and why I really pointed out is that this is the year that education really took a huge shift, and it looked at persistence of our students through a global pandemic. That our students persisted, they worked really hard, and they attained those goals that they wanted to, have by enrolling in a 2 or 4 year institution. So again, 74% of our OnRamp students enrolled, they're persisting, and they're meeting those goals with their post-secondary plans. There are a few pieces that make up the OnRamps program, and that's the college standards, our innovative pedagogy, our technology enhanced education, and then aligning that college experience. So the college standard really means about how we're engaging our students in the academic content. These are actual UT Austin courses being taught at our residential campus here in Austin. The only difference in how we engage our high school students in OnRamps is the length of which they're taking the course. And so most college courses, as I'm sure everyone knows, are taught within a semester. Well, with OnRamps, in most of our courses, aside from our US history and rhetoric, are actually stretched out over the entire academic year. This really allows our students a chance to master the content, especially in the math and sciences, really allows them time to dig deep, but also allows our high school instructors to do a lot of review, scaffolding, and again, making sure that they're engaging our students in that active learning environment. Innovative pedagogy is our very fancy way about talking on how we teach the course in an OnRamps class. So our course instruction is delivered very specifically, and how we engage your students in our OnRamps class is really thoughtfully designed in that pedagogy and how we're teaching the course. So we are not a sit and get model. We believe in active learning in the classroom. And so our students are going to have a lot of experience with conversations. Our science courses have labs. And so there's going to be a lot of active learning being done in an OnRamps classroom. Our technology enhanced education, so OnRamps is a one-to-one program, so our students are using a technical device to access all of their college coursework and their coursework that they're completing in the high school classroom. We use a learning management system called Canvas, and Canvas is that LMS system that our UT Austin students also use at the residential campus. This allows our high school students to get really familiar with those LMS systems that are used throughout the country at many different universities. But this also allows our students to have all of their materials in one space. So OnRamps does not have textbooks. We do not have that added fee. All the student and instructor materials are in that Canvas LMS system. So it should be very easy for your student to access what they need in terms of all the work for their courses. And then really aligning that college experience. We want our students to feel like they're actually taking a college course, so we treat them as college students. We want them to, again, learn and develop these social and soft skills, knowing that they're going to be really helpful for them as they develop out when they go on to college or into the workforce. So for your student, we do offer 16 dual enrollment courses. As it is right now at Stratford, they do offer 5 of our courses this year. We do have courses that span science, technology, mathematics, art, and humanities. And to date, we've had over 105,000 students across the state of Texas take an OnRamps course, which is pretty awesome. This is our model and what we really like to kind of explain to our students and our families and how we differ a little bit than that of dual credit. So if you don't know, Dual credit is where one teacher from a community college or a teacher on a high school campus that has a master's degree and is an adjunct faculty member for a community college will teach your students one course. Your students will earn 1 grade, and that 1 grade from a dual credit course goes on an academic transcript that will follow your student throughout their academic career. How we differ than that of dual credit is instead of having one instructor that your students engage in, we actually have 2 teachers of record that will engage with your students in the OnRamps course. So that first teacher is that high school instructor. Your students are going to see that teacher on a day-to-day basis. They will have that face-to-face engagement with your students. They are going to be doing daily assignments, quizzes, projects, all part of that OnRamps course to help prepare them for what they're going to be turning into their second teacher of record, which is a UT faculty member. That UT faculty member will engage with your students in a distance learning model. So through that Canvas LMS system, that's how your students are going to engage with their UT faculty. They will not have a direct teach from that UT faculty member. However, they will get some really great significant feedback. They can attend office hours and also have different types of communication on the college side. But that direct instruction is really coming from that high school instructor who is helping facilitate the course in that high school classroom. So because we have 2 different instructors, we are going to have 2 different and separate grades. So your high school instructor are, again, doing all those daily assignments and quizzes and things on the day-to-day, will be awarding that high school grade for all the assignments that your students are going to be completing on the high school side. That high school grade will then go on a high school transcript, and that's what your student will see on the high school grade. Now, the UT faculty member, everything that is turned into that faculty member will be graded based upon the UT grading policy. And instead of having all of those daily assignments like we're used to seeing on a high school side, your students will only have anywhere between 6 and 9 assignments that make up the college grade. Again, giving them a very authentic experience, because as we all know, when you go to college, you don't have like 60 assignments. You really do only have like 5 or 6 and sometimes less that make up a college grade. So once the student earns their college grade, the college grade will then go on a college transcript, and then that record will be reported to UT. Now, how we differ than dual credit, and one of the things that I love about our program, especially as a former school counselor, is that when your students earn and get that final grade on the college side, they have the opportunity to accept or decline their college grade. And this is so important for a few reasons, and we find a lot of value in this for, again, a couple of reasons. One, we want our students to engage in high-level and rich academic content that comes from our university. We want them to participate. We want them to master the content. But what we don't want to have happen is if your student earns a grade they did not intend to earn, for that to negatively impact their chances of admissions into the college of their dreams, into any professional program that they want to go into. And so we do allow our students the opportunity to accept or decline the grade. What that looks like is once your students know the final grade that they have earned, we give them about 5 days to make that decision. If they decide to accept their college grade, then we file a report with the UT Registrar's Office. We report the grade in the course they took, and then they will have the opportunity of ordering a UT Austin transcript at that time. If your student elects to decline their college grade and they don't want to have it on a transcript, then all they have to say is no, you do not create an academic record. And it's like they never even took it on the college side. They'll only get that high school credit and that high school grade. So again, 2 grades, they will definitely get a high school grade that is very separate than a college grade. And that college grade, they can actually accept or decline at the end of their course. Student success in OnRamps, and what we see and what we, again, love about our program is with enrollment, there is no paper application. They do not have to log on to Apply Texas, nor do they have to take the TSI in order to enroll in an OnRamps course. What we have for all of our courses are prerequisite work, which means that they would just have to complete other high school courses in order to enroll in one of our OnRamps classes. We also provide accommodations for students who are receiving services on Section 504 and who are also receiving services through special education. We'll accept accommodations based on individuals, and we can implement those accommodations both on the high school and the college side. And then again, we keep coming back to it, but those academic skills that are so valuable that your students learn: time management, effective study techniques, self-advocacy, teamwork. We work with your students on how to articulate themselves and write an email to professional, professors that isn't in text language. Y'all know what I'm talking about. There's no LOLs or BT dubs. Like, we're really encouraging them, again, to take on that role as a college student and to engage with their college professors and faculty at UT. Here is our course suite. These are all of the classes that we currently offer with OnRamps. If you see a little asterisk next to the name of the course, that means there is a lab component. So students have the opportunity of earning 4 college credits within those courses. At Stratford, this year we do offer college algebra, pre-calculus, geoscience, chemistry 1, and US history. So those are the courses that are currently being offered at Stratford that your students will have the opportunity of choosing to take. When you look at our humanities courses, so as I mentioned, our science, our math, our technology, and our art courses are all taught over the entire academic year. So we put that 1 semester of learning, we stretch it out, and so they'll have that class from the whole year, as I mentioned. Now, our humanities courses are the 2 courses that we offer that look very much like a real college course. So they actually take 2 semester-long courses within that academic year, giving your students the opportunity of earning 6 college credits in that year that they take either of these courses. With US history, it is a prerequisite they complete English 2. Our rhetoric course has a prerequisite of high school English 1 and English 2. College algebra is offered, as is pre-calculus, and so those prerequisites for college algebra are algebra 1, it's recommended to take geometry, and for pre-calculus is algebra 2 and geometry. Science courses, we do have that geoscience class. We love our geoscience class. It's so much fun. It is called Earth, Wind, and Fire, not to be confused with the lovely band, but it's a really fun course. Our students do a lot of active learning again in that classroom, as is our chemistry course, which is also and does have that lab component to it. So to give you a kind of a glimpse of what happens with your students as they enroll in our courses and what that year-long learning looks like. So as I mentioned, there is no TSI needed to enroll in an OnRamps course, nor is there an application. Your students simply need to, put on their course registration sheets that they want to take an OnRamps course, maybe have a couple conversations with their lovely families, their parents, their counselors and teachers. And then that's it. You say that you want to, take an OnRamps. And then what happens is your students start with us when y'all start school. So OnRamps starts when you start with that enrollment calendar. We will then actually register for the OnRamps course with their high school instructor in that high school classroom. Takes about 25 minutes, super easy. Once they get into that Canvas LMS system, your students will create a UTE-ID number and password that they will keep and utilize that whole year that they are taking their course. So again, kind of hopefully making them feel like they really are a Longhorn here at UT. So school and instruction begins between August and September, again, depending on when you are enrolled and when your enrollment calendar starts with your district. We pull fall census, which means that we pull our enrollment data in the end of September. So your students, if they change their mind or need a schedule change, have that time frame between August and the end of September to make those decisions. Once we pull fall data, they're really enrolled in an OnRamps course. They're going to stick with us throughout that academic year. So we've got the fall semester, we get through, we come back from winter break in January, and at the end of January into early February, we do what's called an eligibility period. And what we're doing is we're checking to see how your students are doing only on the college side. Again, reminding you, the high school side stays very different than that of the college. And so we just pull that data and those grades on the college side. If your student is earning a D- or above at that eligibility period, that does mean that they are eligible for college credit. So they will continue on with the course until the end of May. They will get that final grade in May on the college side, have that time to accept or decline, and then again, we'll get that final high school grade as well. If your student is not earning a D- or above, and they might be earning a grade, a letter grade of an F, at that time and that time only, if they still really want to try to raise that grade in there on the college side, we will ask them to submit passing TSI scores to remain eligible for college credit. And that's the only time, only if your students fall below that D-. They will continue on for the eligibility once they turn in those passing TSI scores, again, getting that final grade in the May that they can accept or decline on the college side. And of course, we'll get their high school grade. If your student does not have a D- or above, they haven't passed that TSI, we're still going to want them to stay in the course because we double the chances of college success if your students engage in that learning. And so at that time, we'll continue to have them in the course. They'll only be eligible for the high school grade, and then that college grade won't be an issue because of eligibility purposes. I will tell you, if you have a junior or a senior who's taking OnRamps courses, you can order an OnRamps transcript beginning in June. That'll be through our registrar's office only if your student accepts their credit and their OnRamps grade. So when we look at semester-long courses, which is what our US history and our rhetoric courses fall under, we don't have that eligibility period because there are 2 semesters within that academic year that your students are engaging in our courses. So they'll take the fall course, they'll go through it, they'll get their final grade in early January. Again, when they come back from winter break, they have 5 days to accept or decline. They'll begin that second semester work, same opportunity in May to accept or decline that grade. And then again, if they accept, we create an academic record. If they do not accept, then we don't. The best piece about OnRamps, what I love about this again, is that if your student doesn't earn the college credit that first semester, they can still take that second semester work and still earn the credit in that second semester. So really giving them opportunities to earn 6 college credits, 3 college credits, or if they're not eligible, no college credits. We love to talk about the transformative learning experience because this happens statewide, y'all. I'm not even joking. I have been with Miss Donna many times and done many parent presentations. And when I have current OnRamps students in the rooms with me, they're like, oh my gosh, I totally went through this. This is no joke. And we like to express it in emojis because that's how students relate and that's kind of how we talk about it. So because we're engaging your student in a little bit of a different way than they probably have ever taken in class before, at first they're going to be like, I don't know about this. They might be like, Mom, what did you sign me up for? Why are you making me take this class? Like, I don't want to be here. They may not understand. They may have a hard time kind of grasping, the knowledge or getting used to the pace. There will be tears. I was a high school counselor when OnRamps my campus. Like, I promise you, they do sometimes cry. They may even really want to, get out of the class, but we're going to encourage them to stick with it because we know about the learning that happens and all of that development is so worth it in the end. They get their first exam score and they may actually feel sick to their stomach because they may have not earned a great grade that first time. But you know what? The best part about the learning experience is the community of support that we have for your child and your student at your high school campus. We talk a lot about this, is that we offer this college experience with this beautiful and lovely safety net of educators who are there to help guide your student through the process. That is why we have high school instructors helping facilitate the learning in the classroom, because they know your students, they know your community. Who better to teach these courses and help our OnRamps and our UT faculty staff than your high school instructors? They're amazing. A lot of times, and in a lot of different contexts, we say a lot of that students take teachers, they don't necessarily take courses. And so our OnRamps instructors are really spectacular and amazing human beings. They do a really great job. They work really hard, but they're there to help your student along the way. So they encourage, and we encourage your students to try again. This is what college is going to look like. Do this now, understand it now, the way it helps prepare you for your future. Maybe ask for help from a friend. I mean, a lot of our students also do study groups, whether that be in person or over Zoom. They might even start studying. Like, that might be a new concept for them. Sometimes I have students who breeze through middle school and high school and never had to study, but I promise you, you're gonna have to study for an OnRamps course, but they might knew it and it might be new to them. They were right not to give up because they just persisted through that curve and that learning experience, but they're gonna be ready for what college is going to present to them. I cannot tell you how many students I've seen be incredibly successful with OnRamps. I've also seen students who were incredibly successful that did not earn the college credit, but the feedback that came back to us was, oh my gosh, I am so glad I did this when I was in high school, because once I got to college, I knew exactly what I was supposed to do. So it really does help them prepare and develop those skills again, not just academically, but I'm going to come back to it. Those social and soft skills need to become successful. So student benefits, again, we prepare them for college success. We really empower and encourage our students to take ownership of their own learning. There will be group learning, there will be independent learning, but we want them to understand what all those things look like, because that's what college courses are going to look like once they get there. And then again, we do have high quality academic content. We don't water down the curriculum. Again, the courses your students are taking are the courses that we offer at UT. And this is the success rate. This is how well our students are doing right now. So this past year in 2020, 2021, we awarded over 80,000 semester credit hours to our OnRamps students, and 92% of eligible students earned the college credit. So that is a very high number. Our students are incredibly successful. Again, our courses are automatically transferable to any state institution within the state of Texas, both 2- and 4-year alike. So the courses they're taking are going to go with them, and they will get credit for those classes at their receiving institutions. I can't see everybody on their cameras, but parents, how many of y'all want to save some money on tuition? Raise your hand, right? So on average, $24,000 per year. Oh, I love the hand raising. Thank you so much. Love that interaction. $24,000 a year for tuition costs, just tuition costs alone for state institutions in Texas. So when you look at the cost savings of our program, last year when we looked at the numbers in 2020, 2021, our students saved over $33 million statewide in tuition and fees per College for All Texans data. The average cost of a course being taken at UT ranges from $1,500 all the way up to $3,000. So when you look at the cost savings and you do that analysis, we are not only giving our students an opportunity to earn college credit, but we're also really saving some money, some very important money to save on those tuition and fee costs, which is pretty incredible. And again, we don't use textbooks. So that's another fee that is not associated with OnRamps. I don't know about y'all, but at one point I had a textbook that was like $500 for my program. So a lot of money that textbooks can be. When you look at student growth, we are so proud of our growth in our program. To date, in this year, we have over 35,000 unique enrolled students in OnRamps. Our enrollment has actually surpassed some other 4-year institutions here in the state. And so again, we are very, very proud of our students, our instructors, and our partnerships of really growing and developing out a pretty wonderful program that we have. I like to call this our then and now slide, kind of like what you see on Instagram or Facebook, where we were in 2012, 2013, when we were first kind of launching. We had 166 students, 6 teachers, 5 campuses, and 4 districts. This year, we have over 35 unique enrolled students, over 1,200 teachers, 392 campuses, and 196 school districts partnered with OnRamps. So again, very, very excited and happy about our enrollment numbers. When you look at the demographic of our program, we talk a lot about increasing the number and diversity of students who are engaged in our program. 44% of our students are identified as first generation, which is just incredible. And we also really love the demographic of our students, as it does mirror that of the state. So we do have a diverse group. We have a lot of diversity in our program, and we celebrate our students' diversity and all students who are taking the OnRamps course. This is kind of a list of all the school districts. Y'all are on there, I promise. But just to kind of give you an idea, we are all over the state of Texas in every major urban city, ranging from El Paso, San Antonio, Houston, Austin. We're down in the Rio Grande Valley, Dallas, Fort Worth. Even in our rural school districts, we really appreciate and love all of our partnerships. This kind of shows you statewide reach with a cool little graphic about where we are. We're still growing. We're still, bringing on new partners as we speak. But again, still very proud of the growth that we've had to date with the program. This is one of my favorites as a former high school counselor. I love to see where students are successful and where they're going to college. And I really want to point out how many of our students have taken their experience, taken those college credits, and gone beyond our state borders, right? So we're looking at coast to coast. Our students are going to school all over the country. We believe they're going all over the world too. We're still trying to track down some data on international students. But what's really great to see is they are taking these experiences and matriculating and really persisting through that college experience. When we talk about high school students, and I remember a lot when I was a school counselor, we talk about the summer melt program, that we lose students between senior year, graduating senior year, and actually going and starting that first year of freshman year in college. A lot happens. There's a lot of life that happens. We know a lot of life has happened and is continuing to happen. But what we're trying to do is really support our student success, empowering them to continue on, empowering and encouraging them to learn what they can now, take this experience and use it beyond. So this is pretty awesome. I mean, we've heard and I've actually gotten reports from our students that we've had OnRamps kids get into Harvard, MIT, Lone Star Community College, UT Rio Grande Valley, the UC system, LSU, University of Oklahoma, all over the state and all over the country. So we're really proud of them, and we're going to continue to track that progress as our program goes on. I'm going to go ahead and show a quick clip, and I will be right back.
Enriching, accomplishment, challenging, smooth, capable,
discovery.
Describe OnRamps as a really good way to get a head start on college.
You learn a little bit how to start studying for college and how it's going to be different from high school classes. You and your classmates and your professor are working together.
It wasn't like any sort of class I had taken before.
It taught me how to collaborate.
It's a nice way to kind of learn more about college education, but not having to take that huge risk of passing or not failing.
I thought the teacher was the only person who I could ask for help. I asked my friends and I formed study groups, which is something I was not comfortable with, myself, because I thought my friends could judge me, but I learned to open up, keep an open mind.
OnRamps really taught me how to approach my teachers and ask them questions without being too shy. And in OnRamps, the instruction is a lot more exploration based and it's a lot more self-led. It helped me become a more independent learner.
And OnRamps, it was more like you take hold of your own learning.
I would recommend OnRamps to other students because there's no risk at all if you feel like you're not the best student. There is no bad student. OnRamps is for everyone. Be prepared to have a fulfilling experience.
It'll challenge you in ways you never have before.
Have fun and be excited to be there.
I can't emphasize it anymore that you won't have any other course that's going to challenge you in a way like OnRamps will. I hope people really enjoy the classes because they're so much fun.
I always love hearing from students. They're so amazing. This is going to go again. So I'm going to go ahead. That is where my presentation kind of ends. I'm telling you, we get consistent feedback all the time from our students. We actually survey our students every single year. We survey our instructors. We're very, very open to constructive feedback, how their experiences were, and we're constantly looking to design it better, make it more engaging. So we really listen to the students, we listen to our instructors, and really value their feedback. So these aren't the only stories. These are amazing kids across Texas who are engaging in our program, and they're doing some really, really incredible things. We're very, very proud of our students and all that they're accomplishing in our program. I am going to pause, Donna, and open it up.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for that presentation. Parents, we would like to take a few minutes right now before we talk about the other portion, which is the dual credit portion. We would like to open it up for questions, but we would ask that you put your questions in the chat, and then that way we can read the questions, take care of the answers, and then if you have specific questions at the end, we can address some of the specific questions.
I I did want to mention just one thing, because I know that this comes up a lot in questions about the transferability of college credit to other institutions besides UT, right? So as it states, it's actually written in legislation that if a student earns the college credit in an OnRamps course, it is automatically transferable to that receiving institution. The thing to remind people of, and what I like to have conversations about, is that if your student wants to come to UT Austin and they're taking an OnRamps course, then their college GPA will start with us because they are taking a UT Austin class, right? If they want to go to A&M, if they want to go to the University of Houston or Texas Tech or any other institution, typically what happens, and I will say 98% of the time, when your students go to transfer that credit and talk to them about the course they took, that receiving institution is going to say, great. They're going to check that box for core curriculum, especially in the state of Texas. They're going to put down that your student took that course, but they're not going to put the grade down because that receiving institution didn't grade the college work that was turned in. So oftentimes what you'll see is it will check out the box, it'll be on a transcript, but your student's college GPA won't start at the receiving institution because they did not grade that college work. Coming to UT, we'll start the transcript. Going anywhere else, yes, they will accept the credit, but they won't necessarily take that grade. And so that does stay very, very separate.
So one
So go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, Pam.
Are we ready for questions?
Yes, and there are some questions in the chat. And one of the questions in the chat, one of the first questions was, what are the courses that are offered at Stratford? Mr. Harrington actually answered those questions, but I did want to I have a couple of slides that list the courses that are available to students at Stratford. So Stratford 11th grade students can take US history, and they pair that with the English composition, which is also the OnRamps course. So in 11th grade, students can enter what we call the early college program at Stratford High School. And in doing that, they take history and the English composition. Those are the classes Jennifer was sharing with us that are actually semester-long courses. So they'll have the first part of history and English in the fall and the second part of history and English in the spring. That is open to the 11th grade students at Stratford High School, because that's when those students take US history and English composition at the high school level. We also offer at Stratford the college algebra, which pairs with Algebra 2.
Come on, let's eat. And then you get in the shower. Tell them we got to go.
And then the prerequisite Algebra 1 and geometry is recommended. So that is the college algebra class, and it is paired with the high school Algebra 2 course. Students can also take Discovery Pre-Calculus, which is the normal route is when the student is beginning to enroll in pre-calculus after Algebra 2 and geometry. The one that Jennifer shared with us, the Earth, Wind, and Fire, the geoscience class, which is paired with the Earth and Space high school course, and then chemistry, which does have a lab worth credits, and the prerequisite for that is Algebra 1. And this is the first year that Stratford offered that course. Then the next question is the cost. As I'm going through the questions, the next question I see is, what is the cost for each dual credit and dual enrollment course? In Spring Branch, we're very fortunate that Spring Branch is currently paying the tuition cost for students who enroll in the dual enrollment OnRamps courses and the dual credit courses through Houston Community College. So the actual cost to the student currently is nothing, because Spring Branch ISD grades up that tuition fee currently. Let's see, I see, what have you shared regarding these programs with the students? Mr. Harrington, I'll let you read that.
We'll be working with the students next week, and we're discussing course selections So we'll be discussing all that with them and informing them, giving them information, handouts for them to go through. And then we'll be talking with them one-on-one as we do course selection.
Thank you. Jennifer, I think that this is a question that you might want to respond to. It is, what is considered a good grade to accept for OnRamps?
Absolutely. No, and we get that question all the time, right? And especially at UT Austin, because there's a lot of, perceptions about what you have to do and the grades that you have to get. So I would say that, and I'll tell you, a B is a good grade on a college transcript. An A is a good grade. A C can even be a good grade. I think what happens is that we really encourage our students to have conversations with the institutes they intend to go, or if they have questions about admissions, we highly recommend call those admissions counselors, y'all. They are the golden ticket to your success in college. They have just a wealth of knowledge, and they're so kind, and they will work with your student on what they should do with their grades and what kind of grades they should be coming in with. Now, if your student wants to go to UT, and let's say they really want to go to the engineering department and they have a C in an OnRamps course, do you think that they should accept or decline? Probably decline. It's a very competitive program. We have a lot of competition when it comes to McCombs and to Cockrell, our computer science program. And so if your student wants to come to the University of Texas at Austin and they have a college grade of a C and they're trying to get into a competitive program, that could be something that could maybe not look so great when they're transferring credit. If they're going to another institution where they're not going to necessarily take that grade, they may say, take the C. That's great. Like, you passed the course, you got a C. We're not going to start your college GPA, but we're going to give you credit for taking the class. So it's conversations with the institute that you really want to apply to and making sure that they know what what you're going to do with that grade. The next question is about taking courses and weighted courses for OnRamps. I'm not sure if I know that answer.
And in Spring Branch, the dual enrollment and dual credit courses are weighted the same as AP. So they are considered the advanced level courses that students take and earn that weighted credit for. So good question. What is the historical grade distribution on the UT side, specifically interested in English and history?
I'd have to look at that data because it changes every year. It doesn't just stay the same. It's fluctuated. You can imagine how things have fluctuated, especially the past 2 years. But our students have been incredibly successful. I'm going to refer back to the slide where 92% of eligible students earn the college credit. So we are seeing a very high number of students successful in the grades and distribution of college credit in those two courses.
And I would say that in Spring Branch, historically, the students do very well. We have a very high percentage, I would say probably pushing 95%, sometimes higher, of students who accept the credit for the English and the. So I would say that it's a pretty high percentage in Spring Branch, as well as probably across the state.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And to the question of if your student doesn't receive the college credit due to, grade them less than a D-, there is no end of year exam that they can take in order to get that credit. So they have the experience. We will encourage them to take the course again in college. But if they don't earn the college credit while taking it with OnRamps, then there is no exam to take. I also want to mention, if your student does not accept their grade, there is no going back. So if you did not accept that B, when a B is a really good grade in college, like I'm just telling you, if you did not accept that B and you come back and be like, oh, I really wish I would have, can you guys change my mind? We cannot change the mind and we cannot flip the academic record. So once that decision is made, that's why we give you guys 5 days to make that decision. And we really encourage you to have conversations with your parents and your counselor and your teachers, because it's really important. Once you say no, we can't change that academic record back. So something to kind of consider and think about. You can get and request a UT transcript through the UT website. We also have a transcript piece and page on our OnRamps website. It kind of talks you through the process of how to get that UT transcript. So it does go directly through the registrar's office. UT or OnRamps can't get a transcript for students. We do not have that capability because we are an institution. It's a four-year institution. All requests have to be made through that registrar's office. Is the credit automatically accepted to the college side? If you say yes to the credit, then yes, it is automatically accepted on the college side to any 2 or 4-year institution within that state of Texas. Again, if you're planning on going to school outside of Texas, call those admissions folks, y'all, because they know what will transfer over. Keep your course syllabus. That is incredibly important because then you can talk about your learning outcomes and everything you did in that course. And most times, and what we're hearing is that it will transfer and be transferable outside of the state of Texas as well. Let's see.
So a follow-up to that end of year test question, it said, or maybe not an end of year test, but what they do in an AP course. It is my understanding, and Mr. Harrington, correct me if not understanding this correctly, but I believe that any student can sign up to take the AP exam, even if they're not in an AP course, and therefore try to earn credit that way should they not accept the UT credit. Is that correct, Mr. Harrington?
That's absolutely correct, but there's a timeline that has to be met in. Like we ordered AP exams early in October this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, AP changed their timeline of ordering exams a lot sooner for high school campuses, and I knew about that too. There's a great question of what are the benefits of taking dual credit versus AP. There's benefits to everything. Like I see benefit and we see benefit as a program for your students to take AP, to take dual credit, to take dual enrollment, because they will have a rich, diverse experience knowing what different types of classes look like, because that's exactly what they're going to experience once they get to that 2 or 4-year institution. Not any college course is going to look the same. And so we really recommend, if your students can do it and they're able, try on a few different hats, see what courses you really like to take. We love OnRamps, we love the engagement, but we see so much value in all of the dual credit opportunities that your students can engage in. So again, very, very good.
I see the question about the historical grade distribution again, and how many earned A's. I'm not sure that I have that data as just the specific grades that the students earned. I know I don't have access to the specific grades earned.
Well, we do, but per FERPA, we're unable to share other students' information or their academic records unless it's with an administrator. So we talk and we have access to that, but we can't share that information per FERPA.
And I saw again another question about the GPA points awarded. So I did just want to reiterate that in Spring Branch, students who take AP courses, dual credit, or dual enrollment all earn the weighted GPA credits. So I just wanted to make sure. And then I believe this is probably a question more for the Stratford counselors. Can the parents sit in on the discussion with their student? And so then the follow-up question was, is that the discussion to accept or decline the grade, or is that the discussion of whether or not to take the courses or to sign? So
Okay.
That would be directed to the counselors.
We're going to be talking with the students in a classroom, through the classroom, so we will not be able to sit down with the parent and have the discussion with the student. So our whole month of February is focused all on the students. All our time is either in the classroom or one-on-ones in the library with the students working on the courses. So that would have to be a discussion later. We can't have a one-on-one with the parent at that particular time.
Well, and I think that too, like a lot of times, and I do parent nights across the state, like I'm all over the place, right? And we really talk a lot about the information about the program. So that way y'all are here with us in this meeting, you're hearing this information for that to kind of organically come up with you and your student to kind of talk about before they get to that course registration piece, right? So like when you're talking to them about their options or what they feel comfortable taking, like hopefully this is kind of maybe sparking an interest in your student, maybe sparking a conversation that you can have at home first. That way, when your student goes in to meet with their counselors, they're like, yep, I know exactly what I want to take. I want to take this dual enrollment. I want to take this dual credit. I want to take this AP. And that way you are part of that conversation with your student. So hopefully this has given you information to be able to have that conversation. And then if you have any additional questions, Donna has my information. We have a whole portal online on onramps.edu where parents can send in questions and I will respond because y'all are in Region 4, which is my district area. And we are happy to give you any more information that you would like to get.
And Jennifer, we're sending home copies of the comparisons to dual credit, dual enrollment, AP. All of that will be in an email blast that we do next week, covering everything that we're covering with the kids so that the parents know exactly what kind of information we're sharing.
That is awesome. Y'all are so, I love when campuses and districts do that. It's so helpful to see that side-by-side comparison because all of them have the same intent, which is to, engage your student in a college level course, but all of them look a little different. So that's so great. And thank you so much for doing that for your students and your campuses.
And if you are interested as a parent in just that general side-by-side comparison and you want to access it before it comes home, in the catalog on the Spring Branch website, there is a page that shows a side-by-side comparison of AP to dual credit to dual enrollment so that you and your students have an understanding of that information. If you go to the Spring Branch website and go to courses under the students and families tab, that will link you to the course so that information is in there as well. And so at this point, I just want to thank Jennifer for coming on and sharing the information about OnRamps. We're going to transition into how the OnRamps fits together the dual credit, because at Stratford, those things do specifically work together. And I would like to share some of that information with you for just a few more minutes. And then at the end, if you have some specific questions, I'll stay on and answer those. But at this point, we're going to go ahead and allow Jennifer to go on to whatever it is that she needs to do for the rest of this evening. And we thank her for coming on and sharing that information with us. And again, if you have a question that I cannot answer, I'm more than happy to put you in contact with Jennifer through the OnRamps portal, and we can definitely find out that information. And I'll share my contact information at the end as well. So thank you, Jennifer, for your time this evening. We greatly appreciate you.
Absolutely. And I'll go ahead and send you a copy of the presentation. I know it's recorded, but I'll send you a PDF as well. Ms. Metcalf, thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Y'all have a great night. Stay safe.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Of course, absolutely. And I look forward to seeing you all again. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Hey, Donna, the couple questions that they've had is where can they view the recorded session?
Okay, I'm recording the session and we'll send it to SHS TV. And we have an SHS TV channel that will send out the link to parents.
Awesome, thank you. So I wanted to take a few minutes to talk with you about how the OnRamps program at Stratford also works in conjunction with our partnership for dual credit at Houston Community College. Any student who chooses to sign up for the early college program piece of curriculum and class schedule at Stratford will participate in OnRamps as a junior with English and the history class. And we talked about that just a few minutes ago. So as an 11th grader, they will take history and English, and those will pair together since you're on schedule. So they'll have every other day, the English and the history through OnRamps. There are also the other OnRamps courses which students do have access to that are not part of the early college program. We're going to talk specifically about the early college program. Once students complete the OnRamps portion as 11th graders, then there's a year they enter into the dual credit work through Houston Community College. And with that, it's that continuation of the early college program again that they started as 11th graders. But I do want to talk to you a little bit about one slide that Jennifer had early on in her presentation, where she talked about the between dual credit and dual enrollment. OnRamps courses are dual enrollment, whereas the HCC courses are dual credit. So with the HCC courses, the students will have an HCC instructor, and they will earn one grade only. So they don't have a high school instructor, except in one circumstance at Stratford. They will have an instructor who is provided by Houston Community College, and those students will earn their high school grade and their college grade, which will be identical, and it will be awarded, that grade will be awarded through the Houston Community College instructor. So it is that continuation of ECP. Students who earned credit and accepted credit at the University of Texas for English 1301 are eligible to enter the senior year portion of that. And they will take the British literature through Houston Community College, which is the English 23-22 in the fall, and then English 23-23 in the spring. That will allow them to earn their English for high school credit while also earning that literature credit for college. But again, I just want to reiterate that students must have earned and accepted credit for English 1301 or 1302 in order to enroll in that literature course, because it is a prerequisite. So even if a student chooses to decline that English 1301 credit their junior year, or English 1302, if they decline that credit, then they cannot enter into that Houston Community College literature course. Because remember, as Jennifer was saying, student chooses to decline the grade, then a University of Texas or any college transcript is not generated. So be allowed then to participate in that literature course at Stratford. The partner class to that would be their government classes. So they'll take government, which is a high school credit, as well as a college credit in their senior year. And they'll take both a government 2305 in the fall and then 2306 in the spring. So assuming students take and accept all of the University of Texas OnRamps credit their junior year, at the end of their junior year, they would have earned 12 college credits. If they then, as seniors, they will earn another 12 college credits through the literature and the government, and have earned 4 college credits before they ever leave Stratford High School. If they choose to additionally take the math courses, the algebra or the pre-cal or the chemistry and the, what was the other course? Oh, the earth, wind and fire, the geoscience. They earn even more college credits while they're in school, and really will be finished with their freshman year of college prior to leaving Stratford. Again, it's another opportunity for students to earn that college credit. It's tuition free because Spring Branch graciously picks up those tuition costs. Now, for the HCC dual credit part during their senior year, students possibly will have a textbook cost that they will need to pick up. So that would be their only fee that they might encounter, would be during the government and English courses that they take through Houston Community College. Right now, currently, our students are taking those online online with their instructor, and many of the materials are at a reduced cost. through Houston Community College, but that would be the only cost that a student might incur. That's for students who are participating in that early college program, moving in and participating both their 11th and 12th grade year. If you have currently a student who is a senior who participated in the OnRamps course this year, in order to participate in the dual credit as a senior, they must apply to Houston Community College via the Go Apply Texas website no later than April 1st. And then they will also have other things that need to be completed, another packet of paperwork that will need to be completed for Houston Community College. And the counselors will share that paperwork with the students. And make sure once the students apply using that Go Apply Texas site, within usually 2 days, they will receive a 9-digit ID number from Houston Community College. They need to put that in a safe place because that's how they will access any accounts and information at Houston College. Now, there is one other additional Houston Community College dual credit course, and that is for students who do not participate in the OnRamps English and History portion as juniors. So if a student is entering into their 12th grade year and they did not participate in the OnRamps program during their junior year, at Stratford High School, they may sign up for dual credit English 4, which is taught by a Stratford High School instructor who is also credentialed through Houston Community College. That also will be a dual credit course, and the students will have to follow these same action requirements as well. So that's an opportunity. Again, I just want to reiterate that this is an opportunity for your students to earn a significant number of college credits with no tuition cost to you, the family, while they're participating in classes at Stratford High School. And we hope that your students enjoy these courses and enroll in those courses. Again, I want to just reiterate that the success rate at Stratford High School and really across our district for dual credit and dual enrollment very high. And students are very successful when they move on and graduate from high school and move on into the college campus life. So my information is here on the screen. I would like to open this up to anyone who has any questions. We would be happy to answer any remaining questions that you might need. Okay, I see a question about, is there a way to check whether you accepted credit or not? I would, if you accepted, I would think you should be able to access your University of Texas OnRamps account to check for that to see if you generated a transcript. I see another question about they still need to pick up econ somewhere, right? Yes, the students will take economics at Stratford High School during their senior year as well. So yes, they still have that credit of economics that is required, and they will take that as part of their schedule at Stratford High School. It's just not offered as dual credit or dual. Any other questions? Yes, the question about my students going to be in Algebra 2 in 10th grade is OnRamps a choice? Absolutely, it is a choice. Stratford does offer college algebra, and college algebra is connected and crosswalked with Algebra 2. So yes, that is a choice for a 10th grade student who's going to be in Algebra 2. Any other questions? I'm going to stop sharing so that I can see the screen. If you have any questions that you don't want to type in the chat and you want to just ask, please unmute and we will be to answer any questions you might have. If you have no other questions, thank you so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate you being here, and we hope that you can benefit from participating in this program. So can a current 11th grader in DE this year take DC English as a senior? They will take dual credit English as a senior, but it will be literature. It won't be as in English, it will be literature, but it will correspond with their English that is required for high school. And take it as long as, again, they have accepted credit for either 1301 or 1302 at the University of Texas. Can I confirm chemistry is 1 semester for the whole year. So if they want credit for 2 semesters, they have to take another year of chemistry their junior year. I think to what you're referring is that the college course of chemistry through OnRamps is as a college course is usually 1 semester, but it's being offered over the entire year at Stratford High School. However, I believe that students still earn their entire year of chemistry credit for the high school portion at the end of the year. Mr. Harrington, can you confirm that?
Yes, they earn their 2 semesters of high school chemistry, but they'll earn 4 hours of college chemistry on the UT side, or on the OnRamp side.
Absolutely. And then to that end, which just reminded me that remember in OnRamps, they're receiving 2 grades. They're receiving a grade from their high school instructor, and they're receiving a grade from their college instructor. So that's how OnRamps differs from dual credit. It is dual enrollment. So yes, the student is earning grades along the way from their high school instructor, but they will only earn 1 semester or 4 hours actually, because of the lab, 4 hours of college credit at the end of our spring semester. Is the syllabus for DE and DC the same as an AP class? How is difficulty compared between these courses? The syllabus or the syllabi between these courses are not the same. They're different in the approach to how they are taught. So it's not as if a student is going to be having the exact same curriculum experience in an AP class as they do in a dual credit or a dual enrollment class. As far as difficulty, I would think that they're all somewhat comparable. They're going to all be rigorous coursework. I know that in an AP class, from what I've heard through the years, the AP class is very much geared toward preparing students for that AP exam that they take at the end of that course. And they must earn a certain credit on that AP exam in order to earn any kind of college credit. And then the college determines how much credit they're going to award from an AP exam. Whereas in a dual credit or a dual enrollment course, students earn that credit at the end of the course, and they have generated a college transcript. And as Jennifer was saying to us early on, when they generate that college transcript, it by law in the state of Texas must be accepted at every state public institution, whether it's a 2-year institution or a 4-year institution. If they are a state institution of higher education, they must accept that credit. So does a DC class affect their college GPA, or is it just a credit earned? It will depend on the college. They will generate through community college, they will generate a transcript and begin generating GPA at Houston Community College. However, if they're going to transfer to another institution of higher education, then the institution determine whether or not they accept it for a GPA credit moving forward. I would say that a majority of them do not count it toward the GPA because it was not earned at their institution. But again, I would encourage you to contact the institution that your son or daughter is interested in attending and ask them how they will apply those grades that are earned. So those are all really good questions. Any other questions? Are there any updates for chemistry DE labs as we've had issues with having lab closed and receive a 0 due to athletics? To work with your high school instructor. I know that OnRamps is working with your high school instructor to make sure that you can make up those labs, and they are working with the chemistry teachers to be sure that students have opportunity for success in that. So that's a good question, but we have been working with them, and so work with your instructor and he can help you in regard to navigate that. What would a D grade in college to acceptance to a college, is that a negative? Is it recommended to decline that grade? Again, it's going to probably depend on the institution. I out to the admissions officers at those institutions and ask them exactly how they would look at that D, because I can't tell you that for sure, because again, like I said, at every institution it differs. So I would just encourage you to reach out to the institution of interest.
When a student's applying for college, they don't send in the transcript from UT or from HCC. So technically, they're being accepted on their high school grades only.
Okay, good point. Any other questions? If there are no other questions, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Please feel free to reach out should you have any other questions that come to mind later on. I'll be happy to answer any emails. So please feel free to reach out if you have any questions.
Thank you all.
Thank you.